Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fun with VDubs. Today we're working on the Baja Bug and we have a big problem with it. Because it's a 1960, it never came with a fuel sending unit in the gas tank. So we have absolutely no idea how much fuel is in it at any given time, unless we take off the cap and use our manual fuel gauge. In this episode, we're going to fix that. Now this was a lot more involved than just going out, getting a sending unit, slap it in and hook it up. We had to source an actual fuel sending that would work with the tank. And this is what we found. It's actually made or intended for a marine application, boat gas tanks, but it'll work fine in here. The one thing that you need to do, or we had to do, is the measurement from here to here had to be right. It can't touch the bottom of the tank. And I believe this is, where's tape measure when you need it? I think it's 10 inches. Yeah, 10 inches. And beyond that, we also had to get a gauge that was compatible with this one. See, this reads in a range of ohms. It's a electrical thing. Don't ask me what exactly it means, because I don't know. But this one reads in 0 to 90 ohms. 0 being empty, 90 meaning the tank is full. So we had to match our gauge to that. And that's what we got. We got an auto meter and it reads exactly 0 to 90, just like the sending unit. So we are in business. And we'll put links to these two items down in the video description. To be honest with you, I did have the wrong gauge at first. The one I originally had was 73 to 10 ohms. It was an auto meter, same exact gauge as this, only in a different ohm range. Didn't work. It read actually in reverse. So when the sender was saying tank was full, the gauge was saying it was empty. So live and learn. So if anybody needs a, 73 to 10 ohm fuel gauge, 2 1/16 inch round, hit me up. I got one for sale. While we have the tank out, I decided to clean it up a little bit. It wasn't in too bad a shape, but the paint was showing some age. So I sandblasted the top. The bottom is still fine, and I really didn't have the time to do it. The bottom too, so I just did the top. And I used two different methods of blasting this. I tried out the hydro blasting, where you take your pressure washer and you, it's a combination of pressure washer and sandblaster, where the sand actually goes through the water. And I tried that out because we're going to be doing a lot of body panels that way, and we don't want any heat build up with regular sandblasting, so the hydro blasting is supposed to help with that. But for getting off old paint and rust and stuff, not all that great. No, so I switched halfway through. I switched over to just dry sandblasting, and it took all the paint and a little bit of rust off of it. So there's that to consider. Okay, first step is to drill a hole in the top to fit this float that goes up and down, and this is 1.5 inches. I already have a little pilot hole drilled through. Oh, and this tank is completely empty, completely aired out. There are no fuel fumes inside here. That would be awesomely cool on video. Whoa! Woohoo! All right, so it's not perfectly centered, but it'll work. See, and I want my wire to come out this way, so I'm going to make that notch right there point in this direction. I'll put it right over the top and mark for holes. I'm going to be securing the sending unit to the tank using what's called riv nuts. It's actually just a little threaded insert that you use a special tool to put in here, and then your bolts will thread through them. So we get the gasket on there. Oh, I also vacuumed it out, so there's no shavings left in there. So what you do is you take a riv nut, and this is, let me check. I think it's a 15/64 of an inch. Yes, 15/64. So I don't know exactly what size this is. I think it's an M4 maybe, but I drilled them out already. That sits down in. Then you take this special tool, you thread your fitting on the tool, put it down in the hole, then you hold the bottom part with a wrench, and these are really delicate. They're kind of small, so you got to be careful with it. And then you take another wrench and you tighten up the top. You don't want to go too far because you'll pull the threads right out. Loosen that up. Yes, that is in there perfect. Doesn't move at all. Get on to this one. Again, threaded on there. Try to make it sit flat on there and tighten her up. Just until it gets snug with these little ones. With the big nut inserts, whoops, you can crank down on them pretty good. But these itty bitty ones, you gotta be really careful with them. Yep, that one's in good. 3 more to go. Yeah, what it does is by cranking on this, it pulls this, just like a rivet works, it pulls this down and creates a bubble, I guess, on the back side to rivet that in there. It works really nice. I use these a lot. Okay, I've got all those in. Now, one thing that I'm mildly concerned about is these riv nuts do stick up a little bit. It's not much, but they do stick up. And I'm a little concerned about if there's enough squish in these rubber gaskets to take that up. So I'm going to put 2 on. So put the sending unit in. Yeah, once we get these cinched down, then I should be able to see if that gap closed up around these. I think it will. Oh yeah, yep, that's squeezed down. Yeah, these riv nuts, they don't take a lot of torque on the threads that are in them, so just have to be a little careful. But yeah, that's squeezed down nice. I see no gaps at all, so we're good to go. Before calling it quits last night, I did get the tank back in the car and all wired up. Now, the wiring couldn't be simpler. There's just 2 wires coming from the sending unit. One goes to a chassis ground, the other goes to the gauge. Then off the gauge, there's a positive wire that goes to the fuse box and a negative that goes to the chassis. Oh, and then there's a light, a dash light also in there that gets wired into your dash light circuit. Now you may have noticed these tubes coming off here, and this is actually a diesel heater that we heat the cabin with. We made a video on exactly how we installed it. I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. Now, let's see if the gauge actually works. I have a can of gas. This is exactly 5 gallons. I'll try to dump just half of it in, see where a quarter of a tank comes in at, and hopefully I won't spill it all over the place. Wish me luck. Oh, I see a problem already. Okay. There we go. Okay. It's working. I'm not making a mess. You know what? Before I go any further, since I had the tank out, I should probably check and make sure I don't have a leak under here, because I did have to take the fuel line off. No leaks. Okay, I only put in like 2.5 gallons, half of that 5-gallon can, and in a 10-gallon gas tank, it should come up to a quarter of a tank, right? One thing I like about the sending unit is it doesn't jump around. That way when the fuel is swinging back and forth in the tank, the needle on the gauge isn't going nuts. But yeah, it's just below a quarter. I'm happy with that. If you like this video and want to see more just like it, please consider subscribing to our channel and hit that like button, share with your friends and all that stuff. See you next time. Thanks for watching.